Good morning. This video is to show you how to set up and bill a standard recurring billing subscription. The following is intended to give a general overview of the product. It is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be a comment on any future direction of the product. The development, release, timing, and pricing of any features or functionality described for Oracle's products may change and remain with the sole discretion of Oracle Corporation. Enjoy the presentation. The basic flow is we will enter a subscription header. We will then add the products to that. We will activate our subscription. We will go in and add some usages to it, run the background process then to send it to AR. We'll then log into accounts receivable, bring in that invoice, and then we'll send it back to subscriptions where it can be reviewed. So let's jump into the product. We're entering the product with the persona of John Dunbar, going into subscription management. And we'll go ahead and create a subscription. We're going to do this with computer service and rentals, and you'll notice as you start to type the customer name, it will go look for similar names. Well, you can change the subscription number, but today we'll just leave it the same, but we'll note that because we'll need that a little bit later. You'll notice that it has a subscription profile down here that is defaulted in that gives information about renewals, etc. We're also going to backdate the subscription so that we can show some backup billing during our demo. So we're going to make this for 1 year, and you'll notice that when I put in the term, whether it's days or whatever, it will automatically calculate the end date. So we're going to stick with a year. We're going to save and continue. So it brings in my header information. Now I'm going to add a product to this. And for line 1, I'm going to add product SR41101, which is a cloud backup service. And you'll notice that it automatically defaults in the start and end dates, which will equal to the header. You can change those if you wish. We're going to save and continue. And so the next thing we're going to do is take a look at the billing summary. And you'll notice it sets up billing for all of these items. We'll come back in here in a minute and talk about this. So we're going to save and close this. And now we're back at the header. We have our line item in down here. And the next thing I'm going to do is turn off renewal controls, because this internally approved field is automatically required. If you leave that there, then you'll have to go out and do an extra step of having this subscription approved. And so to save that for this demo, we won't do that. And then we're going to go ahead and activate the subscription. And it will go through a validation. If there isn't any problems, we can click the activate button. And now we'll go back to the summary page, and you'll notice that now the subscription is active. And now I want to go into, and active means I can actually go ahead and bill it. So I'm going to go into the line item, and I'm going to add some usage into this. We come here to the billing summary, and you'll notice that I have now an action wheel here. And so here I have setup fees. And if I click action on this one, I can adjust the amount that's going to be billed. If it's already been billed, I can run a credit memo. On a usage line, I can manually enter the usage. So I'm going to update usage quantity. I'm going to put in 300, and then I'm going to tab, and a little button will show up. This is rate usage. So I'm going to rate usage, and what this does, it goes out and prices those 300 units. And we'll leave that for now. we're going to go ahead and save and close this. Now the next step I'm going to save and close is we're going to actually build this. So we're going to go into scheduled processes and run a background process called send subscription information to receivables. So I'm going to search for that. And you don't have to type the whole thing. Send subscription billing information to receivables, okay. Now this is where I'm going to use that subscription number I wrote down because I'm only going to build a subscription I'm working on, which is 18010. And the business unit is going to be US business unit. And I'm going to go ahead and submit that. Now this process will run fairly quickly. So we'll let it finish. So that's now completed. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into accounts receivable using Tracy Allen. And we're down here as Tracy Allen. And in receivables, I'm going to go into receivables. I'm going to go into billing. And then down here in the lower left where it says import exceptions, I'm going to click this little right arrow and an import button is going to come up. So I'm going to click on this import transactions and it brings up the process submit auto invoice. Now you can always go into scheduled processes and run submit auto invoice. But we're going to do it from here. And then the invoices, you can see that invoices can bring in information from a lot of sources. So we need to select the ORA underscore subscriptions source. We'll leave the date the same and we'll click submit. And so this process will take a minute or so to run. If you want to validate that it's run, you can always come over here to the taskbar, manage transactions, and then select the same subscriptions and run search, and it'll bring up all the subscription invoices. I always like to sort of based on transaction day, so it hasn't completed yet. This will take a minute to complete. But when this is finished, we can then come back over into John Dunbar. And then we're going to execute another process, which is called fetch, F-E-T-C-H. We're going to fetch subscription information from receivables. And there are no parameters on this, and we'll just click submit. Then we'll wait for this one to complete. And once it's completed, we can go back into subscription management. Back into our subscription. Open up our product line and go into billing summary. And you will now notice on the right side of the screen that the invoice information has been brought back. If you click on one of these invoice numbers, it will actually bring up a view of the invoice, and you can shrink your screen a bit, and you can see down at the bottom that you have all the elements that were there. We have our setup fee, we have our 2 monthly fees, and then we have our 300 usage fee. And so this is ready for the next monthly billing. We can save and close, save and close.